Space weather warning. Solar wind is here. It has arrived and it's blowing around our Earth at over 1,000,000 miles an hour. Or for those who prefer in kilometers per hour, it is 1.6 million kilometers per hour, which is over 1,000,000 miles an hour. It's now being bombarded by the solar winds, which are colliding with our planet's magnetosphere at 1,000,000 miles an hour. According to space weather, an unexpected stream of solar wind blowing around our Earth. Today, April 8th, stream's velocity is only moderately high. That's 450 kilometers per second. And I'll leave you the link to where I have also, you can use it. You can even convert it on your own. And I did check on that. That's exactly so. And it contains south-pointing magnetic fields that can open what are called openings. This is the scientific term they're using in NASA as well. I don't want you to feel fear. It's just that that's what happens. They touch each other and they sort of split. And the scientific word for that is called crack. Okay, so they're opening cracks in the Earth's magnetosphere. The Arctic sky watchers should be alert for auroras mixed with springtime twilight. So this is what is causing all these beautiful auroras over the northern and southern hemispheres. Auroras were not in the forecast for April 7th, but they appeared in force over Finland despite the full moon. They said people there witnessed beautiful explosions of green and purple, nitrogen fringe as well. We've reached the time of the year, they said, when the northern horizon never gets totally dark. Nevertheless, aurora season is not yet over. Now, unexpectedly, a crack opened in Earth's magnetic field. Solar wind poured in to spark these lights. That's what happens. When you have an opening, that's what happens. The particles come in closer to our Earth, and this is how you get an aurora. And soon the night sky will be too bright for Arctic observers to see the auroras. And that will be until we can say goodbye to them until September. But they say, who knows, maybe we'll get more luck in coming days. Now, concerning the speed of it, and this is according to space weather, solar wind is coming in at 443.7 kilometers per second. So we rounded up to 450 kilometers per second, which is exactly 1,006,621 miles an hour. So just about a little over 1,000,000 miles an hour. That's 1.6 kilometers, a million kilometers per hour. The density is 12.6 protons per cubic centimeter. The X-ray solar flares, 6-hour maximum A1 from 1956 UT, that's April 8th, and in 24 hours, A2, 1257 UT. The classification of X-ray solar flares. A solar flare is the explosion on the sun that happens when energy stored in twisted magnetic fields, usually above sunspots, is suddenly released. So it's a coronal mass ejection. Flares produce a burst of radiation across the electromagnetic spectrum for radio waves to X-rays and gamma rays. And scientists classify solar flares according to their X-ray brightness and the wavelength ranging from 1 to 8 angstroms. There are 3 categories. The X-class flares are big. They are major events that can trigger planet-wide radio blackouts and long-lasting radiation storms. The M-class flares are medium-sized. They can cause brief radio blackouts that affect Earth's polar regions. Minor radiation storms sometimes follow an M-class flare. Compared to X and M-class events, C-class flares are small, with few noticeable consequences here on Earth. Now, we have the solar wind here has arrived. From the sun finally hitting on Earth in the midst of the solar storm. And the cosmic forecasters were stunned by the beautiful solar particles making their way across the 93 million mile journey, or 150 million kilometers journey from the sun toward the earth, which is 1 AU, and reaching us at 450 kilometers per second, or over 1 million miles an hour. The stream's velocity is moderate, and it contains south-pointing magnetic fields, and as we said before, these openings are called cracks. That's the scientific word for it. It's not, it's not a bad, that's what they call them. The Arctic sky watchers, of course, are on alert for auroras mixed with these beautiful springtime twilights. And I'll leave links below for you for this from Space Weather. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.